Welcome everybody. Thanks for joining me today in this training session. In this presentation, I will introduce chains to you and show you how you can get started with chains in your project. My name is Steve Costa and I work for Extra Dimension Solutions, or also known as EXDS, in the training and technical support role. So a little bit of agenda today. What are chains in 12D model and how can chains help me? What type of commands can I run in a chain? Let's have a look at the chain menu, some examples of chains, and then we'll get into a 12D live demonstration. So first up, what are chains and how can they help me? So chains contain a list of user-defined commands that can be run in an order to perform a task. Chains can also contain commands for a given workflow process that can be run multiple times by the simple click of a button. So a quote from many users, chains in 12D model is one of the most powerful and useful tools within the software. So I'll quote in summary, chains are the quickest and easiest way to increase productivity for a user in 12D model. What type of commands can I run in a chain? I'll just bring up the first sort of four slides there, 4 columns that outline some of the different commands that you can run in a chain. So they sit in different folders, and in total, and this is with version 15 included, there's a couple of new ones. You have 111 different commands that you can run, and they're all specified in the 8 separate folders. So lots of different commands, such as running functions, recording panels, creating models, deleting models, a whole heap there under views to do different things with your views. A few items under the drainage area, and some of the other things where we can stop a chain, we can put comments in chains, and lots of others as well. And just the last 2 columns there, there's also the conditional area where you can do some tests and test if something exists, for example, and if it does exist, maybe go on and do something, or if it doesn't exist, then maybe do something else. And just the last column there on the right are some parameters that have been introduced in version 15 where we can set parameters. So lots of different commands. Let's look at the chain menu now. So we can find it under utilities in the chains area. And just to touch on the first couple there, to create a chain and edit a chain, and the parameters allows you a bit more flexibility and power in chains. The next through pretty straightforward, to copy a chain, convert a chain from an older version of 12D, and also rename a chain. And the last 3 there is to run a chain, delete a chain, and you can also compile a chain so you can give it to somebody and they can't quite see what you've got in there. Some examples of chains I just thought I'd show you. So this is a typical sort of road design chain that I've put together. And again, at the top there, you'd sort of something where you could resolve some super alignments and update some road design. And the middle one there is maybe do some triangulations and volumes. And then towards the end, you can create your outputs, you know, your long sections, cross sections, plotting, and also some outputs there. And I'll just show you some snapshots of some examples of chains that I just put together. And that's essentially it. You can see there the green dots are the different commands, and they run in an order. So we can add comments in the chains. We can turn the green dots off essentially, and they won't run. And that's basically the structure of a chain. And we'll get into a live demo now, and I'll demonstrate some of these items to you. I've got 12D open here, as you can see. It might look a little bit different to your one. It's because I'm running version 15. And also in version 15, they've introduced themes. So under project, there's a themes area, and you can select some different standard themes here. Now I'm running the standard theme here today. Okay, so let's have a look what we've got in this project. So you can see the red box there. Essentially it's a pad that I'm going to design, and it's got an RL of 30. Now you can see the tin underneath that, the brown triangles there. There's an existing surface underneath that, so we can do some interface. And here on the perspective view on the right, I've also got the same string there, so we can just see how the design develops as we go through. So essentially for my pad design, if I wanted to create some interface, some cut and fill bladders, so I can create a surface, I'd be coming under design, apply, and there's an interface option. So I've created this before, but essentially if I can pick that function up, the pad 01, essentially this is the panel that comes up. And if you haven't used this one before, it's where you can select a string, and that would be my red string, and I can put in some cut and fill batter slopes there, and also nominate some models for the interface and the slope lines. And essentially if I run that and then turn on those two models, you can see the batters there. I might just turn off the tin just for now. Yeah, so as soon as I hit interface, you can see those batters are deleted and recreated, and that's the purpose of the function. So the red strings there, it means it's in cut, and the green is in fill. So I might just turn those on as well in the 3D view so you can see that. And there they are. So the green strings there are in fill, and also the red ones are in cut. And if I just turn on the survey view there, the survey tin there, just so you can see there that that's above the brown sort of tin there, and the red's underneath, so we can't see it. So we're just creating a bit of a design for this particular pad. So I'll just turn off the tin there. So that would be one process I would have to run. And if I change the level of that red string, moved it up or down to maybe create, a closer balance or Earthworks, or set it at a certain RL, I would literally have to come and recreate the updated batters, and we're going to do this through the chain. So that would be the first step I'm going to put into the chain. So I'm just going to pop that down there. And after I do that, I can literally need to create a tin for that pad design, just so I can create some earthwork volumes. So I'd be coming under the tins, create, and triangulate data. Now I've created this before, so I'm just going to come to tins, edit tin, and just pick up the tin, and I created that design pad tin essentially, which just includes those three models there. So if I add the tin to the view, there's my tin. Just retriangulate that, and then we'll update that based on the levels there. So I'm just going to pop that down there, and I can close that one there, and I'll just add the tin to the perspective view here, and there it is there. So there's the triangulation for that particular model. So if I change the level of the pad, I'd have to redo the interface and update the tin as well. And we're going to add that into the chain as well. So the next thing I might want to do is to create some volumes. So I might just turn that tin off just for a second there. So the volume, so under volumes, I'd go to exact, and I want to do a volume from one tin to another. So tin to tin. And essentially what's the original tin is my survey, and my new tin is my design pad. And I can give it the report name there, just pick the HTML one there, and this one's just going to call it just des pad 01, and it's the volumes for this one. I'll just call it that. And then essentially I can create some volumes. Just hit volume on that one. It gives me the volume, and also opens up the HTML file. And that's the cut and fill volumes for that particular pad based on the survey there. So again, if I change the level of the pad, I would have to get some new volumes. and I can pop that one down there as well. Just putting those down there because we're going to add those into the chain in a moment. And the last thing I've also done here, I've created some contours. So you can see there's some contours. They're not quite reflecting the latest design, so I'll just show you that one. So under tins, contour, I'm going to use that contour smooth and label. Not sure if you used this one before, but essentially you can save this as a function, and there it is, design pad contours. And essentially we're just going to create two models of contours and also some labels there. So if I just process that, you'll see that the contours there have been created for the latest sort of design there. And what I'll do, I'll change the level of the pad, and then we'll have to run through all those processes. So essentially we're going to create the 1, 2, 3, and I'll pop that one down there as well. 4 steps, and rather than doing them manually through the panels that you can see, we're going to put them into a chain. Okay, so let's get into the chain. So under utilities, we can go to chains and we can go to create. Let's create a chain. Just going to call this one update design pad. And if you click at the right there, it essentially will write a file to your working directory. It's an XML file and it's called the .chain file. Okay, that's all we need there. And first thing we need to do here, the most important thing, is the first button there is to create a command or a green dot, like I call them. So the first thing I would want to do is to do the interface here. So I might just run through the exercise here. So I'm just going to turn off those contours just for a second. And that should be fine. I'll just leave that there. So if I change the level of that pad, and I'll just minimize that just to show you a tool where we can do that. So under utilities, I can go to H to Z, and I can come down to translate to move something essentially. So what did you want to translate? And it's just that one model there called design pad. So I'm just going to pick that model from the list here. And do you want to translate the X coordinate? No. The Y, no. But I do want to change the Z, and I want to add 1 meter to it. I might just turn off the other ones just so it's clear. So at the moment there it's RL30, and if I translate it by +1 meter, it'll go to 31. I'm going to replace existing data and go to translate. And now you can see it's RL31. And you can see, I guess here, and it's pretty clear in the perspective view here, it's jumped up now 1 meter from the position where it was before. So the interface hasn't been updated. It's obviously not correct at the moment, or the tin's not correct either. So I'm just going to pop that translate just over here, and I might use it a little bit later, bring back my chain, and essentially we just want to add the first function. So when I created my first chain item here, my first command, on the right hand side here, it says a function, and that's the default. And if you click on that option there, you can see in the previous slide that I showed you in the PowerPoint, these were all the other options that you have to select from. But the function's a default, which is great because you can see here, the interface function, it is a function. So I can put that one into the chain. So I'm just going to put those back on the view there, just so we can see them. So that's the previous interface cut and fill batters. So essentially I just have to redo the interface option here. But again, instead of clicking it through this panel, I can add it to the chain. So function is what I want. What do you want to run? And I want to add that one in there, the design pad 01. So notice how it's got the FX button here, and it's the same FX button here. So design pad 01. And that's all I need to do there. So essentially I've got my first command. So if you click over on the command here, then it will fill it in for you. So it's going to recalculate design pad 01 for me. And if I just click on execute down here, it essentially will just update the interface. It's like hitting the interface button here. So I can close that now. Essentially that panel has been captured in that first green dot. So I'm just going to close that. And now that I've changed the level, if I hit execute, you can see now the batters have changed. And now because I lifted it by 1 meter, I've got a lot more fill and pretty much no cut anymore. Just pop that down there, and you can see the batters in the perspective view here. They've been updated as well. Okay, so that's that one there. So that's the first essentially item in the chain for our interface. And the next thing I'll need to do is redo the triangulation here. And now again, because I've created a function for that, I can close on that. Essentially I can just put that over there just so we can see the interface update. So I just need another green dot, so just insert a second command, and again it's the function that I'm after. Click on the FX button, and now I've got a tin design pad item there that I can pick, and that's that one there. So if I hit execute on that one, you can see there the tin just updated there, and it's following the new design now, which I've lifted up. And that's fine, and that's done its job, and essentially that does my second step in the chain. So the third thing I want to do now is add the volumes here. So the volumes between the survey and the design, we just sort of ran that before, and we would have to run that again. Now we can put this into the chain. A little bit different here because this one is not a function. See how there's no function sort of item at the top to call it a function name? That's fine. We can still capture this panel and put it into the chain by using this record button. Okay, so we can just go get any panel, just about any panel can be recorded, get it ready to press the button on there for this example, the volume. We can go record, and then the chain disappears. It gives you space to work and look at things, but essentially you get a little record item coming up there. So the first button is to pause, so you can do some records and you can pause and then resume the recording if you wish. When you're done, you can stop, and you can cancel as well if you want to change your mind there. So essentially, so now whatever I do is recorded. Just go volume, and yes, I want to update that little file, and there's my new volumes now. So there's no cut essentially, and it's all in fill, which is fine. That's what I was after. And now I can just finish on that, stop the recording, and now you'll see there's a third green dot essentially that's come up. And that's obviously the name that it gives it is exact volumes between tins. Because if I just come down here now and go execute, that'll run that option and it'll give me the volumes again like that. And there's a preview button here as well. If you're not sure what that panel does or what it is, we can click on preview and it gives me a preview exactly what that panel was. And just notice the name there, the command name is exactly the same name as the panel's called. And now we can change that. We don't have to leave it the same as like that. We can just call it exact volumes. And this is the design pad 01. I can just rename it to call that, just make a bit more sense what I'm doing here. And that's my third green dot essentially. And now the contours, just turn those on. You can see there, the contours now, they're not updated, they're the old design, and I wanted some new contours based on my new design. Again, because I used the smooth and label option, and it is a function, thankfully there, which is great, because I can just come down, and now I can click a insert option again. Function is the one I'm after. What did you want to run this time? I want to run my design pad contours, and that's going to recalculate those contours for me. So just a matter of hitting process, but we won't run it through the panel. Just finish on that, and then when you're ready you can go execute, and now you can see the new contours have just been updated for me based on the new design. Okay, so that's the 4 dots I wanted to show you. Now, so execute on any option here will recalculate that I guess that command, or yeah, that green dot, whatever it does. Run down the bottom here, that will run all of the 4 green dots in a row. Okay, so whether you've got 4 green dots or 40 green dots, that will run all of them from top to bottom in that order. So it speeds up the process quite a fair bit there. Okay, so I can just finish on that. And it comes up with you haven't saved the chain, so I'm just going to say no there. So write your chain, definitely write it out just so it saves it, that little .chain file. When I'll just show you, I'll just go to my working directory here, and there it is. It's in the in your working directory, and there was the volumes that we did as well. So these change can be taken from project to project as well. There's definitely no problem there. So we'll just finish on that. Okay, so now if I decide, you know, I want to change the level of that pad again, I can literally just read the translate option that I had open there before. Now I want to put in, let's say, -2 meters to create like a bit of a basin, I guess, sort of underground, and just go translate. And you can see here the level's been changed to 29 in the plan there. And also you can see the red level, you know, it's a bit hard to see now, it's under the tin. If I just turn the tin off, you can see the red string now is down below, 2 meters lower than the previous one. So I'll just turn the tin back on so we can see that update. So essentially we can just rerun our chain now. So if I get the chain menu back up, under utilities, chains, I can just rip that menu off there. And we can edit the chain this way. We can have a look at it, go edit chain, and then there it is exactly as we had it. Or you can also run the chain here as well. Now I'm not sure if some of the designers maybe out there use the recalc panel. So under utilities, if you use your recalc, which this normally starts up as well when you start 12D, because the chains are quite popular, they've actually added it to the bottom here. So you can edit a chain, and there it is, same as the other one. Or you can also run the chain here. So it doesn't matter which one we use, we can use the recalc button here. So I can literally just, because I've changed the level now, I can just run that chain, and essentially you'll see flash up before your eyes, and there's the new volumes, and close that, and now you can see the new design's been updated for us. So we've got the new batters, the new contours, the new volumes, which we just closed, and there's the new design, which is now all in cut. Yeah, so I just wanted to show you that, I guess, as a bit of an introduction to chains. Just close on that. And just one more thing before we finish off, just wanted to show you. So we can also add the comments in the chain, so we can just tell ourselves or others what's going on. So if we just insert a new item here, just come down to the drop down there, under other, you can also add a comment. And I can just say here, this design pad 01, if I spell that correctly, design pad 01 there. Okay, so this bit of these 4 green dots are for pad 01, and you can copy these as well. Didn't show you that, but you can copy any of the green dots as well, or also the comments. So I just copied that one and went paste, and I can literally just put a bit of a divider in there, maybe if I wish, just to divide that one up. And then if I wanted to do another one for my second pad, I can just copy that one there, come down here, paste, and get ready for my second pad design. And you can also copy these as well once we're copying. If I can just say I want all of those, I can just go copy, and it'll copy all the 4 green dots, pick on pad 02 and just go paste, and you can see there I've got them ready to go for my second one now. And I can write that just to update it, and off I go, and just on finish on that. And that's all, yeah, I guess. So yeah, hope that was useful, and thanks for watching.